This is Tales and Whispers, where every story is felt, not just heard.
All right, get ready for a story that sounds like it was ripped straight from a movie script, but I promise you, this actually happened. We're talking about a first date, a bank robbery, and a lesson about trusting your gut that you really, really can't ignore. Yalla imshi. That's Arabic for go now. Imagine hearing those words screamed at you, not by some stranger, but by the guy you're on a first date with, sitting right there in your passenger seat. This is the craziest moment of the story. But to really get how we ended up here, we've got to go back to the beginning. So yeah, that's the big question, right? How on earth does a pretty normal date set up on an app spiral into a full-blown federal crime in just a few minutes? Let's unpack this whole thing. Okay, so we're starting right at that peak moment of intensity, the scream in the car. This is the exact second where a simple, maybe kind of awkward date turns into a moving crime scene. Seriously, just try to put yourself in her shoes for a second. You're driving, you're trying to make small talk, you're probably overthinking everything. He seems a little weird, maybe nervous, but, you know, it's a first date. Everyone's nervous, right? What's the worst that can happen? So, let's rewind. How did this date even get started? Were there any warning signs? Well, the story really begins with a bunch of small, unsettling moments that, looking back, were just massive red flags. Okay, check out this timeline. It's December 5th, 2016. She picks him up from his family's house. Almost right away, he cracks open a bottle of wine and just starts drinking it in the passenger seat. Super awkward, right? But wait, it gets weirder. After some pretty weird conversation, he just calmly asks her to pull over next to a bank. And this is the part that's so important. She felt that little knot in her stomach. You know the one, that feeling that tells you something just isn't right. But she pushed it down. She told herself it was just first date nerves, that she was just being awkward. She chose to be polite instead of listening to that little voice screaming a warning. And from that moment on, things just explode. In about the time it takes to listen to a pop song, her date goes and commits a major crime. And she, without knowing it, becomes his getaway driver. Just think about this contrast for a second. While she's sitting out in the car in what had to be the most painfully long and weird silence of her entire life, he's inside the bank creating a whole different kind of drama. He walks up to a teller and says he's in a lot of pain and that he needs money. And then, all of a sudden, it gets deadly serious. This isn't just some guy asking for a handout. He pulls out an old gun, partly hidden, to show he means business. And what did he get for all this? $1,000. That's it. $1,000 in exchange for a crime that would totally change his life forever. So the guy who gets back in the car is not the same guy who got out. He's covered in sweat, he's thrown on a hat and sunglasses he wasn't wearing before, and he's holding a fistful of cash and a gun. And that's when he screams it. Go now! The shock must have been overwhelming, but it instantly turns into a fight for survival. She sees police lights in the rearview mirror, and she has to make a decision, like, right now. And her reaction under this insane pressure was just incredible. The second she saw those flashing lights, she snapped into action. She didn't speed up, she didn't panic. Instead, she pulled right into a brightly lit Dunkin's parking lot, got out of the car, and just calmly walked away. She put space between her and the danger, and she never once looked back. Him, on the other hand, he tried to hide in the car. When the police closed in, he fought back. He even spat at them. In his big defense, he claimed the gun wasn't even loaded, as if that makes robbing a bank okay. The case against him was basically gift-wrapped for the police. Right there in the car, they found everything: the stolen $1,000, the hat and sunglasses he wore as a disguise, and the weapon, an old .44 caliber gun that actually belonged to his stepfather. So now, law enforcement had this huge question to answer. Was this woman a terrified victim who was in the wrong place at the wrong time, or was she his partner in crime? The whole investigation had to figure that out. Well, the legal outcomes for these two couldn't have been more different. After looking at all the evidence and seeing how she acted, the authorities officially confirmed she was a victim. She was completely cleared and no charges were ever filed. Him? He pleaded guilty to robbery in February 2020. And for those 5 minutes of chaos and terror he caused, He was sentenced to 5 years behind bars. His sentence was broken into 2 parts. First, 3 years in state prison, and after that, another 2 years in a county correctional facility. A pretty heavy price to pay for $1,000. Look, this isn't just some wild true crime story. It is a powerful, real-life lesson in why you have to trust your intuition. So what is the one big lesson we need to pull from all this? It all comes down to this: trust your gut. That first small red flag, the whine in the car, that was the signal. You have to remember, someone who pushes a small boundary at the beginning is showing you they have no problem smashing through big ones later on. Your safety is always, always more important than being polite. If something inside you feels wrong, it probably is. You have to listen to that feeling. Ask questions, take a step back, and get out before it's too late. And that really brings us to the final thought here. I mean, this story is obviously extreme, but the lesson applies to everyone. So just think about it for a second. When was the last time you had that gut feeling that something was off, but you just ignored it? This whole insane story is one heck of a reminder of why that little voice inside is always worth listening to.